1972. The images contain here 3 dots in a triangular formation, clear as day. Apollo 17 transcripts show 3 different periods that the astronauts reported observing unidentified phenomenon, including this exchange with mission control from the lunar module pilot. There's a whole bunch of big ones on my window down there, just bright. It looks like the 4th of July out of Ron's window, and then the command module pilot. Yes, now you can see some of them in shape. They're very jagged, angular fragments that are tumbling. This shows that they saw something.
It's 1972. Apollo 17 goes to the moon. And then the astronauts see this image right here. 3 lights, this triangle of lights.
It's a triangle craft, a structured aircraft observing the astronauts on the moon in 1972. And it's pretty extraordinary. Obviously, we don't have anti-gravity technology now. We didn't have it then. I had heard that this image existed while I was making my film, but it was still kept in secrecy. But today it was released to the public.
And what do you make of that?
I think it's extraordinary evidence. I mean, that is a structured craft observing the astronauts on the moon.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's the one, the only Alcor Star Child here, the one from 72, the Ultra Neutral, and I'm in Cambodia. Behind me is the North Gate with the 4 faces of the Buddha on it and a very beautiful tree. It's going to be a little noisy here, but I just want to, and you're going to hear this noise, this sound that may sound a little eerie and creepy, this high-pitched sound that's some type of insect that's making a sound I'm told. I'm sure if you heard that out in the woods somewhere and you weren't privy to it, you didn't really know anything about it, you probably would think that maybe it's some kind of alien or some shit. But anyhow, I just wanted to touch base with you guys real quick because I'm going to be releasing a bunch of videos from here. I've been here for over a year. I talk about that in those videos. A lot of stuff has happened, but what I wanted to touch on briefly now is the UFO alien disclosure thing that's going on with the government. Some people are complaining, saying that it's not enough information, but it actually is a lot at one time because the normies, you know, they have not been paying attention, but now it's being force fed to them. And the number one thing that everybody's talking about right now is 1972 Apollo 17. Exactly what I've been saying. I've been talking about 1972. I've been talking about Apollo 17, the last 2 astronauts to walk on the moon. It's a 172, Gene Cernan and Jack Schmitt. And the reasons why they've been told not to go back to the moon was because of alien interference, period. And now, the very first thing that they talk about, which, by the way, Artemis 2 just went around the moon a few months ago. And I've been telling people, hey, this stuff is coming. They're going to bring up the 1972 stuff because they're trying to go back to the moon. Going back to the moon means that alien disclosure is going to be pushed very, very hard, very quickly. We're less than a year away from 2027 when everything on this planet is going to change anyhow. However, I'm just bringing this up again. 1972, they keep talking about right now the main thing that comes up is 1972 Apollo 17. That's the year that seems to be over and over, and most of now I've heard some other interviews where they've brought up a little bit of this year or that year, you know, 1947, you know, and that's the thing, that's what's crazy, right? It's mostly about Apollo 17 in 1972, right in the beginning. It's not 1947 Roswell crash. That is not the big one that they're talking about. It's not about the WOW signal from 1977 or 75. It's not about any of these other things, these other years and all this stuff. They went right to 1972, exactly what I've been talking about. And get ready for it. Get ready for it. A ton more stuff is going to come out about 1972. And let me break something down for you. If somebody who's trying to tell you that you might be crazy or whatever, when you bring up this 1972 stuff, especially with the last moon missions, here's how it makes sense. NASA, which are liars, of course, never a straight answer, they told people that the reason why they stopped going to the moon was because they couldn't afford it anymore. They couldn't fund going back to the moon anymore. Well, if that's true, then why is it that in 1972, Richard Nixon signed off on approval for the space shuttle, you know, and then that obviously gets you connected to the Challenger blowing up. Without 1972 in the space shuttle, there never been a Challenger that blown up. They also launched Pioneer 10 that year. Also, they signed off on the Voyager program that year. This is all space stuff. Also, Landsat 1 was launched that year. This is all space-faring things. So why is it that they signed a bunch of new projects like the Voyager, which everybody talks about, the 1977 Voyager expedition, and why would they sign off on the space shuttle? And as far as I know, the space shuttle was a more expensive project than the lunar landers. So I knew that that was a lie when they said that. And now, you know, with a lot of the people who have been saying that, oh, they never went to the moon, this and that, now they're having to go back and reanalyze the things that those people are saying, those astronauts. The reason why they look so uncomfortable answering those questions is because they were fully aware that there were aliens that were in control that told them, you know, this is what you're allowed to say and this is not what you're allowed to say. And that's why those men, those astronauts, 12 astronauts, were always uncomfortable answering questions. They literally had transmitted back to Earth, back to Houston, that they were seeing lights, they were seeing craft, right? Imagine that happening when you're in when you're out, not deep space, but when you're out in outer space and you're going towards the moon, going to the moon, and you see that stuff, right? And then told when you come back, you cannot report to the rest of mankind that you saw alien craft out there. That's why they were uncomfortable. That's why they were elusive, okay? It's funny because you get the same people who say that oh, the conspiracy about them not going to the moon, but those same people will, a lot of those people will say, oh yeah, Admiral Byrd with seeing a hollow earth and stuff like that. They'll say that that is a real legit, you know, testimony from him. Okay, I think that, why would he lie about that either? But also, why would those astronauts lie? Now, the disclosure's coming out. And now 1972 is in everybody's face. It's exactly what I said. It's the very first thing that they're talking about is 1972. And they're talking about the lunar lander, Apollo 17 with Jack Smith and Gene Cernan. And now those men are not here, so you can't question them anymore. By the way, I'm pretty sure that Gene Cernan died in 2017. What are the odds? 2017, that's when he died. I'm pretty sure it was either 2017 or 2020. I think it was 2017 is when he died. And that's also when the American government and the governments around the world, the ones who are in the know, that need to know, were told you have a 10-year window. From 2017 to 2027, you need to get everything that you can out in front if you want to have any type of control over your people before we completely come in and just say, hey, you know what, we're here, this is what it is, you know, you're part of a bigger plan for the universe and and this is this is your role in this galaxy and this solar system and So that's really I'm pretty sure that that's what's going on and that's what's happening. And I wouldn't be surprised then for those people who are going to be shocked by it. I think that it's their own ignorance, willful ignorance, because a lot of the information has been coming out. Everybody knows somebody who has been told by somebody that they thought was a wacko that, hey, there's aliens and they're real and they're here. Everyone knows somebody like that. Everyone does. There's been movies like that. So it's been embedded in the culture. You've been told. You got Spielberg about to release a movie called Disclosure or something. You had, you know, obviously Lou Alessandro said get ready for 2027. And when did Lou Alessandro break out? In 2017. They keep talking about that Age of Disclosure documentary, but it didn't start with that guy with Age of Disclosure. It started with Lou Alessandro. By the way, Lou Alessandro, 100% born in 1972. I would be shocked if he said he wasn't born in 1972. All the research that we did and backtracking to his school records and when he graduated stuff says that he was born in 1972 if he had graduated on time at 18 years old, okay, which would have been the same time that I would have graduated. So yeah, Lou Alessandro 1972 is all wrapped up, and all this 1972 stuff's happening all right now. I was actually going to release a video showing the whole world and all these different sections of the world that are literally affected by 1972 right now. You have the Shanghai Communique that was signed in 1972, which connects China to 1972. Obviously, they keep referring to Donald Trump as Richard Nixon, who took over, who lost his presidency to 1972 Joe Biden, and da-da-da. You guys already know all this stuff. All this, it's all 1972. And in Russia, 1972, SALT I treaties, 1972. And David Gruss saying, hey, in the SALT I treaties in 1971, as they were writing up the treaties, they wrote in that treaty that if you see a UFO or any type of unidentified craft in China or in Russia or in America, don't start a nuclear war because it's not us. What do you mean? And David Gruss said, hey, look, this is about UFOs. Well, that may have been drawn up in 1971, but 1972 was the historic moment that Richard Nixon had the SALT I treaty signed. There was a whole thing with him and I think Gorbachev or whoever was president at the time. They're shaking hands and they're doing it. So yeah, everything's 1972 right now, and it's all going to start coming out. Everything I said, it is happening. It's all happening, and yeah, and pretty much I think that's all I wanted to cover here now because it's getting late. I'm going to post this video tonight, and coming here soon, I'll be sharing more videos with you guys from while I'm still here in Cambodia before I leave. Like I said, I've been here for over a year. I'm leaving here pretty soon. I need to get back to the States because there's a whole lot of stuff about to go down in the States with alien stuff, and I need to be there for that. And with that, enjoy the rest of the time that you guys have left.
That will return Americans to the moon for the first time since 1972, if you can believe that. And once more, we will proudly lead humanity beyond the earth and into those forbidden skies, but they will not be forbidden for long.